It's day 32 of the trip, and we're waking up in Pierre Marquette State Park in Illinois. Just not very impressed by it, but what is impressive is this little guy. How does he stay on the tree while he's pecking at that? He must be always on. Just like my dad's phone in his back pocket all of the time. It's always on. And then for breakfast, I had a breakfast sandwich on a hamburger bun because I couldn't have English muffins anymore. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag sitting in the shade at Pierre Marquette State Park in Illinois? Sometimes I do. Oh, and then we got a steak stuck in a tree root, and that was so fun to try and get out. And then there was also these fruits there. They kind of smelled like a nice perfume, like a really expensive perfume. I don't know what they were. I wasn't really trying to do anything with them because they just looked funky. They kind of looked like maybe jackfruit. I don't know, monk fruit. But we ended up getting out of there and heading on. We were headed towards the Shawnee National Forest. National Forest. This is our first national forest of the trip. How neat is that? We were driving and then we heard a ding, and it turns out that we forgot to get some gas, and we were in the middle of nowhere. And luckily, about 10 miles away, there was a place we just made it. It was in a small town called something, I don't know. But it was just outside of another small town called Alton, and it was pretty neat. This is just kind of like the historic district or whatever. Illinois wasn't impressive really to me until I saw that, and I was like, oh, neat. Not that a place needs to be impressive, but we've seen a lot of impressive things on this trip, you know. Illinois had a lot of industry. Um, and as we were driving along the river here, we saw a lot of barges pushing things. I also saw the St. Louis Arch, which is in Missouri, but we were still in Illinois. But yeah, I saw this giant pumpkin, reminded me of the great pumpkin Charlie Brown and I Got a Rock. But then we went to Big John's for some groceries, and let me tell you what, John was real big. So we went in there to get some groceries, um, and supplies and stuff. And then we headed on. We started driving through. Now, the National Forest is huge, so there was just so many different places to go. And my dad had a list of campgrounds. We tried a few out. They were all packed, but then we ended up going to a place called Tower Rock, and it was right on the Ohio River. And I ended up going for a swim in there. Now, I couldn't get out very far because I couldn't. It's kind of murky water. Yeah, it's Ohio, of course, it's murky. But I ended up kind of getting in there and being able to swim around. Dried off, and then I had some pasta for a snack. Then we found a bunch of wood, and I chopped it up. Yeah, dog. Um, it was all like basically driftwood at this point because of it was by the water and it had dried out. But the water was nice. The place was beautiful. There was only one other guy on a motorcycle there. Couldn't complain. I was trying to convince my dad to stay here for 2 days, and I was successful. Let's go. Um, the sunset was really nice. You could see, some of the other coasts. I don't know, just take a look around, you know. Um, we enjoyed ourselves. We've kind of been striking out on nice spots the last handful of days. I'd say maybe the last week or so. We've been in hotels. When we get a hotel, it's because there's no better option, right? There's no camping around, and we need to be in this area or whatever. But it's nice to find something that works so well. Now, it got dark, and we started thinking about dinner, and we heard some noise, and we saw some lights. Turns out it was a barge being pushed by a tugboat, like we were seeing earlier. But we were getting ready for dinner. We're having tacos and we're also having some beers. Oh yeah. So we rehydrated some tacos and and then we ate them up. I mean, I don't have a before picture. I only have an after. Cause they're just good. You know what I'm saying? Um, Slept in my hammock again. I love sleeping in the hammock. The night before, I slept inside the weather tent on the cot. So it's just nice to be back in the hammock. But it was a good time. Um, we're going to spend the day here tomorrow, so stay tuned for day 33.